Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming over for chanting Hare Krishna in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And if you're in internet world, thank you for joining us this evening in Vrindavan. Everybody wants to chant Hare Krishna, and everybody wants to share the Hare Krishna mantra with other individuals. We very clearly understand that the process of becoming purified and going back to Godhead and meeting Krishna in Golok Vrindavan and serving Krishna in Golok Vrindavan is this process of chanting the Maha Mantra. And everybody wants to do it. And I thought that I would read tonight very briefly so that we can continue with chanting. But I will read from Brihad Bhagavatamritam, and it's from the first part of the Brihad Bhagavatamritam at the end of the first part. And at this point, Lord Krishna offers benedictions to Narada Muni. And Narada naturally is very thrilled. Narada thought he made a mistake, but Krishna said, no, you did not make a mistake. He said, you are my best friend. Take a benediction. And so Narada asked for three things, and we will read the second blessing that Narada asked for. It's very beautiful. But it shows us that even the greatest or the great personalities, they're always aspiring to be absorbed in Krishna Nam Sankirtan, just exclusively in Krishna Nam Sankirtan. And as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed us, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Around the universe. Goridas, you should have just put it on yourself. You should have just put it on yourself. So, Lord Chaitanya says, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. And our acharyas tell us that when he says Param, he means that there is no other dharma in Kali Yuga which is equal to or higher than the chanting of Krishna's holy names. Param. This is supreme dharma. Nasteva, nasteva, nasteva. Not by karma, not by jnana, not by yoga, but only by chanting Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Param Vijayate. And Vijayate means victory or victorious. So, if we will take the chanting very seriously, and we will try to chant the name purely and free from making the mistakes in chanting the holy name, Vijayate, we will become victorious by the grace of Krishna over the effects of material nature. We know that there are the three qualities goodness, passion, and ignorance. And we've always read in Srila Prabhupada's books that they are like ropes, and those ropes have bound us in this material world. So we need to become free from the binding effect of the modes of material nature, but that's real difficult. In the 7th chapter, he says, Daivi Hisha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante. He says, this divine energy of mine, consisting of the 3 modes of material nature, is very, very difficult to overcome. And the only way a person can overcome those 3 modes is if he surrenders. And if he surrenders, then my grace, by my grace, I lift him up. So, param vijayate. By Krishna's grace, and by the grace of the holy name, we can become free. We can become free from the shackles of the 3 modes of material nature. Those of you who listen to Srila Prabhupada, or those of you who read Srila Prabhupada, you know that oftentimes he was very graphic in his descriptions of material life. And he said, because we are bound by the ropes of material nature, we are repeatedly being kicked in the head by the boot of material nature. And even though we all have a different idea, if we stop for a moment and look at the situation, we can clearly say, yes, repeatedly we're being kicked. Repeatedly we're being kicked. So param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. He says, not any name of Krishna. He says Shri Krishna. And generally we think of Shri as Lakshmi Ji, the goddess of fortune. But Lakshmi Ji has her origin in Sri Radha. So Mahaprabhu, he clearly says you have to chant the names of Radha and Krishna, or Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we all want to do that. And the better we do it, and the more we do it, the closer we will come to Krishna. And even the best of the best of the best of the very best, that's what they want to do also. So I will read this benediction which Narada is asking from Krishna. Narada, before asking the benediction, he speaks sweetly to Krishna. If somebody's going to give you something very, very nice, naturally you will use your most pleasing words. It's not that you will, use low language, or that you will address the person in the wrong way, but you'll use your very nicest language. And before asking for a benediction, we should glorify the person who is going to give the benediction. So Narada says, O Lord, who is O Lord, never satisfied with your own charity, I have now achieved my goal. My labors have borne fruit, for I now understand in a practical way who the objects of your greatest mercy are. This is the only benediction I need obtain, and for me it is the greatest mercy. But still, O King, among those who give charity, I have one long cherished desire. And in his commentary, Srila Sanatan says, since Krishna insists on, he's the Lord, so they love him, but they love him with the spirit of reverence. But in Goloka Vrindavan, they don't have that. And so Narada says, these names, they will show people the different types of clothes that you wear and the different fine pastimes that you engage in Goloka Vrindavan. And our acharyas have said, Golokara Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. If we will chant this Harinam Sankirtan very sincerely, we will see everything from the spiritual world. That should be our firm faith. And then he says, and beyond that, he says, as I wander, behaving like a madman, may I distribute joy to everyone in the three worlds. So he's saying, please, just let me travel and chant everywhere. But when I do it, I want people to hear these holy names, and I want everybody to experience joy and become uplifted and to become free from those ropes of material nature that are binding us here. So in the commentary, Srila Sanatan says, an emperor swan likes to visit various lakes where he swims about and enjoys at liberty, unimpeded by lesser birds. And Krishna finds his delight in the hearts of his surrendered devotees, each heart a unique treasure house of manifold ecstasies and loving dedication. Narada wants to serve Krishna as an exemplary Paribrajakacharya, preaching the glories of Hari Namamrita throughout the universe. By chanting Krishna's names, Narada will enjoy the highest pleasure and also share that pleasure with everyone else. The bliss of Harinam will inspire such joy in Narada and his followers in disciplic succession that they will become like intoxicated madmen, laughing, crying, dancing, singing, and sometimes showing all ecstatic symptoms at once. Thus, these devotees will forget their bodily needs and their worldly duties. The names Krishna acquires in Gokula are sweeter than the names he acquires anywhere else, including even such names as Vishnu, Narayan, Narasimha, Ramachandra, Mathuranath, and Yadavindra. The names of Krishna in Gokula Vrindavan describe qualities of his that cannot be found in any other abode. Only in Brajabhumi does Krishna place a peacock feather in his hair, gunja ornaments on his ears, and garlands of kadamba flowers around his neck. Only in Braja does he perform such pastimes as drinking the life air of Putana, and breaking the cart in which the demon Shakata was hiding. Only there he is called by such sweet names as Nandanandan, Jasodavatsal, Gopika Manohara, and Braja Janananda. So Narada, he wants blessing, he wants, please let me travel, chant, preach, and everyone I come in contact with, may they become filled with joy by hearing Krishna's holy names. And Srila Sanatana makes it very clear here, these names, Hare Krishna, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, are different because they will grant us entrance into Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, let's chant Hare Krishna.